What's up, YouTube? Ryan back from Dopemon again. And today, I watched every single minute of every game of day one of the World Junior Hockey Championship. And I just wanted to do this quick review of all the games, what I thought about it, what stood out, things that happened during today's games. It was awesome. Day one of the World Juniors. It's one of my favorite tournaments of all time. Absolutely amazing. The backdrop is a little different today. I'm at my parents' house for Christmas, and we're making do with what we got here as a setup. So if this video if it's framey or something weird, I'm sorry, but we tried our best. Before we get started, thank you so much for all the new subscribers we had recently. We reached 420 subscribers on Christmas Day, which is absolutely incredible. Alex and I were freaking out about that. And yeah, thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button down below and leave a like on this video if you like cool hockey content. We like talking hockey here, so we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so it's going to be a fun journey. Game 1, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Finland versus Germany. Starting goalies in this game were Quap and Merlanen for Finland, who I think was a surprise starter for Finland. Both played very well in the game. Let's go over it. Germany actually came out of the gate really, really well and then took a really bad penalty that killed their momentum early. They actually had a lot of momentum and took a really crappy penalty and killed it all. After that, it was, Finland killed that penalty, had lasting ozone pressure from there on out, and had, a lot of cycle, a lot of time in Germany's end, and Germany only really got chances off the rush after that first penalty. At 13 minutes of the first period, Finland opens the scoring. Brad Lambert, the unassisted goal. It was actually changed later in the game to Sami Helenius as it deflected off of him, but Brad Lambert was the one that created this goal. Amazing game from him today. Finland actually took a penalty right after this goal, but Germany couldn't establish anything on their power play, and Finland killed it off pretty easily. Finland with a very, very aggressive penalty kill. Finland takes a puck over the last penalty to end the first period, and they go into the first intermission, just 1-0. Shots were 10-9 Germany after the first period, so still generating some decent rush chances. Second period, Himo Sialmi, who had an amazing game, I think, for Finland, was one of their best defensemen, if not their best defenseman all game. Had a very good defensive play on a shorthanded chance by Germany. You gotta remember, Finland took that puck over glass penalty at the end of the third period, carried over, and yeah, amazing chance from him. At 3:30 of the first period, Germany ties the game 1-1. Muzzenberger was an unassisted shot, another unassisted goal. At the time was recorded. The first goal was changed later, but second unassisted goal of the game at the time. Muzzenberger is allowed to walk right into the shot after the power play, and a little confusion as it went from 4-on-4 to a German power play. There's a little bit of confusion on the finish end, and Muzzenberger was allowed to walk right into the slot and snipes it home as 1-1. At 8 minutes into the second, Finland hits a post on a very good shot and gets Germany scrambling in their own zone, and Finland scores to make it 2-1. Mata from Himasalmi and Puito. Puito actually had a very underrated game too. We would talk about him too much, or I didn't hear the commentators talk about him too much. But Puito had a very, very good game. Shot from the point, deflect off defenseman, blocked right to Mata, who puts it in. Quap, the goaltender for Germany, had no chance on that one. Doesn't even have the chance to control a rebound. He just goes down and pops out to his left, and he's done so. After this, Finland starts to really buzz, really starts to push and control the play a lot in this period. A player I didn't really like was Nurmi in this game. As a defenseman for Finland, he lost the puck in his feet a couple times and almost got beat on both occasions. He kind of had to tie up the German player. He knew the puck was around him, but he had to then tie up the German player skating backwards into his own end. That happened a couple times to him. I thought that was really strange, but yeah, he's a player I wasn't too thrilled with after this one. Germany takes another penalty at 14 minutes into the second period, and right at the end of the power play, Schubert, big defenseman for Germany, huge block. huge block, saves a goal for sure on a Kemmel shot from the Stamkos area of the power play. Absolutely ripped. Big block by him, saved the goal. Shots are now up 18-13. Finland, after 2 periods, was moving into the third. At 4 minutes into the third, Finland actually takes a tripping penalty that had, I don't think, any business being a tripping penalty. He's just kind of pushed into the corner. If anything, it was checking from behind, but they called it tripping, but I don't know if that was deserved. Germany actually had a really good start to this power play and was buzzing and trying to tie this game up, but just couldn't generate after the first unit got off the ice. The German unit has very good first power play, not so great second power play lineup. Couldn't really even get it into the zone after the first unit came off the ice. So look for that, for Germany going forward as an issue. 8 minutes left to go in the third. About 8 minutes. All these times are, about. I didn't sit there and do all the, the times of goals and stuff. Finland scores to make it 3-1. Sami Helenius again gets a second of the game from Brad Lambert. A sick pass from Brad Lambert for Koivunen on the far end. Helenius actually got this chance after a very, very good defensive play at his own end. I think saving a goal. There was a little bit of a one-timer quick play in front of the net that could have gone in. Helenius stopped it and then goes from his own end to the other end and finishes off this amazing play to make it 3-1 for Finland. Brad Lambert, can we talk about the Brad Lambert redemption tour after this game? Amazing game from him. Very strong two-way, gets a couple points. We thought one was a goal, but ended up with 2 assists. Incredible game from him, I thought. As far as Finnish prospects are concerned, I think jumped a little bit ahead of Kemmel today. Kemmel didn't have a great game, but I think Lambert had an amazing one. I think he was the player of the game. He might have been the player of the game for Finland. And Brad Lambert redemption tour after falling a little bit draft stock wise in the last little bit. Germany had some decent chances in the third, but ultimately I thought they took too many penalties in this game. Penalties will kill you in the World Juniors, and I think it did for Germany. Played pretty well and at times were the better team, but just too many penalties and gave Finland too many opportunities to set up and gain momentum. Bad for Germany, bad for any team, especially a definite underdog like Germany was going into this game against Finland. I don't think anyone thought Germany was not the underdog in this game. You can't take penalties if you're the underdog. Germany pulls their goalie for some last-ditch effort, some final chances. But ultimately, Finland takes this game 1 of the day, 3-1. Final shots were actually 24-22 Germany. Player of the game, Germany, was Munzenberger, the goal scorer, and Brad Lambert, like I said. Really good effort from Germany and made it closer than I expected this game to be. I thought this was going to be like a 5-1 Finland game. After Germany lost, unable to bring Tim Stützle this year, who, let's face it, carried the German team into the quarters, and I think it only lost 2-1 to Russia in the quarters. Almost carried them to a semifinal. Tim Stützle did last year. JJ Peterka not on this team. Not a bad showing overall from Germany. I thought they were pretty good. Game 2 of the day was Russia versus Sweden. This was the game I was the most interested in. Even as a Canada fan, Canada and Czechia, not a crazy matchup. I expected Canada to win that game. We'll get to it. It was a little bit more insane than I thought it was going to be. But the game I wanted to watch today was Russia-Sweden. Wallstedt and Askarov in net for their respective teams. Highly, highly touted goaltending matchup. One-sided goaltending matchup ended up in this game. Russia came out of the gate absolutely flying, buzzing early, very physical game. This game was so physical and chippy and fast. It was a really, really fun game to watch. My favorite game of the day was Russia-Sweden. Not teams that you ultimately think are very chippy or fast, Russia-Sweden, but ended up to be just an incredibly chippy, hard hits all over the place. Great game from both sides. We talk about penalties being huge momentum killers. Russia with a penalty here, killing their momentum to start the game, and Sweden goes on a power play. Sweden scores on the power play. Oskar Olausson with the snipe over Yaro Askarov's left shoulder. Assisted from Holtz and Grans. Quick off the power play. Beats Askarov pretty clean. short side over the blocker, like I said, and he's the other way, so his left hand would be blocker. Great traffic in front for sure, but Askarov, I think, has to have this one. Actually, right after that, 11:30, about 11:30 into the first period, William Eklund with an amazing chance. Russia flies the zone a little early. Eklund stops back, gets an amazing chance, and Shakir Makhamadullin pulls the puck off the line and saves a goal. Askarov, a little shaky. That was the whole first period. The shots were 6-4 Sweden, so not very high chances, shots, but some decent chances, and just like I said, hard-fought, chippy battles after the whistle goes. Fun first period. 4 minutes into the second, Simon Edvinsson. Let me tell you, when I was a little bit, what happened to my camera? When I was a little bit down on Simon Edvinsson, last year's draft, I had him way lower than he ended up going in that draft. He had a very, very good game. A little bit still, I saw on Twitter someone call him a chaos giraffe. That's exactly what he is. He's at 4 minutes has an amazing shift, ends up with a great chance. But 7 minutes into the first, Sweden takes a puck over glass penalty. It was very obvious and easy to call. No chance on that was deflected. Russia goes to the power play. 30 seconds into the power play, Sweden scores shorthanded. We talk about Simon Edvinsson, has a huge, huge reach, pokes the puck by the forward who was playing defense. I think who was it? It was Tankov for Russia. Pokes it by him, clear breakaway, scores on shorthanded on Yaro Askarov, who again can't quite squeeze the 5-hole, and it trickles ever so slowly into the net. 2-0 Sweden. Before that power play ends, Passion, Russian forward, really good speed, rush chance, almost gets it by a wall step, but that was the only real chance for Russia on the power play. And at 12:30 and 14 minutes into the second period, Russia actually takes 2 consecutive power play penalties, and Sweden goes on a 5-on-3 power play where they make no mistake and score with Andrea from the point. From Granz and Eklund. Great shot from the point from him. Good traffic in front on a point shot, but Askarov has got to look by it. You see him, he just kind of drops into a butterfly and doesn't even attempt to look. It was one guy standing in front of him, and he doesn't even try to look by, or if he does, he just kind of thinks he's going to cover the bottom of the net, and it beats him. Beats him under, I think, between the arm on the power play, and the captain makes it 3-0. Just 2 minutes later, Russia gets on the board, 3-1, scored by Fyodor Svechkov from Chivrikov and Tankov, who gets a little bit of redemption for letting Edvinsson get by him. Shivritov, puck off Sweden defender's leg and in. It was a kind of an awkward goal. Wallstedt had a couple of those, otherwise played pretty well, I think, Wallstedt. But, kind of an awkward bump off I think it was Edvinsson's leg and went in. 3-1. Ultimately, this is Sweden's period, but Russia was really buzzing at the end, and you could tell the momentum was starting to change going into the third. Shots on goal were 17-16 at this point for Russia at the end of the second period as we go to the third. And in a kind of a surprise, I think, at the start of the third period, Yaro Askarov is on the bench, and Gushkov is in. The backup is in. Sergei Zubov decided to pull Askarov, who I don't think had a very good game. So I think it was merited, but kind of surprising. Soon into the third period, we had the biggest hit of the game. Loof for Sweden takes a absolutely huge run at Grudinin, draft-eligible defenseman for Team Russia, who was caught standing still and absolutely blasted by Loof here. Borderline charging, but I think it was a solid hit. I think it was clean. I didn't end up seeing too many replays of it, but I feel like it was clean. There's no penalty on the play for Loof, but Sweden ends up with a power play after the scrum because there was a big hit. Scrum ensued. Sweden ends up with a power play out of it. And then, 2 minutes in, Russia takes another penalty for Sweden's second 5-on-3 of the game. You can't keep getting this team chances. This team is way too good. They have way too many good shooters. And Sweden scores Holtz on the power play off a nice one-timer from Eklund. Great pass from him, from Eklund. Good one-timer from Holtz. I don't think it was very well placed, the shot. It was kind of just got off quickly, but beats Gushkov. It's 4-1. Player we have to talk about when we talk about Team Russia is Matvey Michkov. He had an incredible game and basically wills his team back into contention in this game. We won't talk about every goal into detail, but Michkov scores 2 in a row for Russia at 5:15 and 6 minutes about in the third period. Brings his team within 1. First goal was it was a cross-check on the play that ended up being waved off because they scored. He was going hard to the net with a great inside-outside move from Michkov. Between the legs kind of thing, drives hard to the net. Puck would have went in anyway. Puck, after the net came off the moorings, and they counted it as a goal. The second goal for Michkov was from behind the net, and he threw it in front, and it bounced off William Eklund, I think, and over the shoulder of Wallstedt, who, again, another weird bounce from, Sweden, off of Sweden defenders. Wallstedt gets beat. You got to be lucky to be good, and you got to be good to be lucky, I guess, if you're Michkov. At about 11:30 in the third period, Sweden scores that all-important goal to put them up by 2. Niederbach from Torgelson went right through Gushkov. Gushkov has to have this puck. Terrible, bad goal to give up. Right along the ice. You need a save there if you're Russia. During the empty net, too, I want to point out I laughed out loud in my house. Jesper Wallstedt, when the empty net was there, actually took a shot at the empty net. Iced the puck, missed it by about, maybe 10, 15 feet right. But he took a shot at the empty net, which I thought was awesome at the World Juniors. Sweden scores an empty netter. Lundman from Edmondson. 6-3. That is your final. Sweden wins. Shots are actually 30-24 Russia. The third period was all Russia. Russia was buzzing. But again, terrible defense, terrible discipline, bad goaltending. You can't do all these things with a team like Sweden. They're going to score 6 goals on you. And if it weren't for a couple of really weird bounces off a defenseman, this would have been an absolute slaughter. It would have been 6-1. And who knows how the momentum would have changed then. It might have been worse for Russia for goals, but it would have been 6-1 otherwise. Not a great showing from Russia in their first game, I think. Sweden looks really, really, really good, though. Moving on to Game 3. Canada-Czechia. Very, very crazy game. And let's get into the first period. Canada scores 4 minutes into the game. Mason McTavish, with an absolutely great solo effort, runs around the arena in his own end and snipes it past his shoulder of Malik, the Czech goaltender. 1-0 Canada. At 8:42 into the first period, I'm going to butcher his pronunciation name, but Gut scores for the Czech Republic. Branabek and Kulik with the assists. Play continued for a second, actually. It was a nice little one-timer, 2-on-1 odd man rush situation. And Garand almost had it, the goaltender for Canada. Garand almost had it, but it went off the camera. The play continued for a little bit, but they actually blew the whistle or blew the arena horn when they realized it went in. And yeah, 1-1. Canada actually takes a tripping penalty at 11 minutes into the period and sends Czechia, I almost said the Czech Republic, Czechia to the power play. And Czechia successfully scores on that power play. Novak on with the shot. Power play one-timer from a point from Juracek and Kolacek. 2-1 Czechia on Canada, who is definitely the underdog against Canada. About 30 seconds later, Stan Svozil with a nice inside-outside move, gets the puck to the middle of the ice and roofs it on Dylan Garand. 3-1 Czechia. Oh, no. That's Canada's... Canada calls a timeout here, and I think it was a great decision by Dave Cameron. Settle down, boys. We're fine. And basically right after the timeout, Owen Power scores a goal. Maybe should have challenged this. It was a little bit of goaltender interference, I thought. Cole Perfetti went hard to the net. Puck popped out. Power just fires the thing on net. Goes in, 3-2. And if you're not aware by now, there's absolute chaos defensively for both teams in the first period. Was not looking good for either team defensively. 3 seconds left in the third period. Sabrango ties the game. Perfetti and Bedard with the assist. Bedard actually started this game, I think only playing a couple minutes in the first, and then moved his way up the lineup. He's going to play more and more minutes as this tournament goes on. Zabrango goal, actually, there was a Czech chance, an odd man rush that they kind of bobble, throw away this great odd man rush. Terrible pass / terrible puck reception, and goes the other way, and Zabrango scores. This could have been bad for Canada. This could have been 4-2, but instead we go into the period tied. Now in the second period, I think this was actually low-key a huge change, tide change of this game. David Jiricek, top draft pick for Czechia going into this year's draft, goes down after he tries to throw a hit at Will Cooley, but he gets the worst of it. Kind of clipped. It didn't look like a knee on knee. It looked like initially it looked like a really bad Charlie horse or something. But goes down, bad, looks like a bad leg injury. He's going to be reevaluated after the game. We'll find out what happens with him later. After that, it kind of comes all kind of unraveling for Czechia. They take a holding penalty. Then they take a cross-check and a tripping penalty on the same play and give Canada a very, very long 5-on-3, and they have no problem scoring on the 5-on-3. Owen Power on the power play. Cole Perfetti and Maverick Bourque, almost said Raymond Bourque, with the assists. Power with the 1T off the power play on the 5-on-3 was really nice. Cole Perfetti was the guy who made this play happen. Kind of switches everyone around, gets the offense set up, gives it to Power, who blasts it home. Canada's up. Actually, low-key on this play, too, Dylan Garand, when the puck was cleared on one of the power play chances, I can't remember if it was 5-on-3 or not, he actually jumps up into the play and fires it down and ends up with a breakaway. Canada ends up with a breakaway off this play. Would have been an amazing assist from Garand, but ultimately, Malik stops that chance. Just before the 5-on-3 ends, Owen Power will score his third goal of the game, the only defenseman apparently in World Junior history for Canada to score a hat trick, and I think the first hat trick in Power's professional career, or amateur career, I say. McTavish and Perfetti with the assist, Perfetti with the big points today. Power streaks in, pots a hat trick goal, goes to 5-on-4, but they don't score on the 5-on-4. All Canada in the second. It was all Canada. As soon as Jiricek went down, all Canada the rest of the second. 25-9, the shots on goal total after the second, and we go into the third. And again, the third, all Canada has all the pressure after that crazy first period, really tightens down defensively, really pulls up the pressure offensively. Czech goalie Malik actually made a couple really, really outstanding saves in the third period to try to keep this team into it. Olin Zellweger ends up scoring 13 minutes into the third on the power play after another Czech penalty for hooking. Cormier neighbors with the assists. Clean snipe over the glove. Traffic in front. Third power play goal for Canada, and Canada is running away with it now. Like I said, Canada and Garand really settled down defensively and in net. All Canada after the first period. 6-3 final for Canada. Shots on goal were 37-17. The final for Canada, like I said, Czechia had a lot of momentum in the third, a lot of weird chances, breakdowns defensively for Canada, but then Jiricek goes down and the tide ultimately turns. Canada's up. Or Canada wins this game by a final score of 6-3. Game 4, the late game. U.S. and Slovakia. Starting goalies are Drew Commesso and Latkoski for Slovakia. First period, U.S. initially with 2 power penalties right out of the gate in the first. And it gives Slovakia some decent momentum. They don't score on the play, but Drew Commesso has to come up huge. Slovakia were my pick at the start of this tournament to potentially upset a team that they shouldn't normally beat. Not off to a great start for the States. But then again, penalties, man. Penalties for teams that are underdogs. Stop. Slovakia takes 2, gives U.S. a 5-on-3 for 21 seconds. And that's all the time they needed as Matthew Nyes scores on a power play from a nice pass from Logan Cooley. Jack Pierkett also gets an assist on that play. And on the 5-on-4, remember this was a 5-on-3, scores just before it ended. 5-on-4, Mackie Samoskevich with an incredible shot. Incredible shot from the States from Matthew Coronado and Matty Bediers. Both goals on a power play were absolute bullets. And And I didn't know Samo had that kind of wrist shot on him. I saw him more as a puck possession, puck carrier kind of player, but he had a cannon on that. Bullet beats the goaltender Lepkowski for Slovakia. 2-0 States. All of a sudden, we go into the second intermission or first intermission like that. Drew Commesso really saved that period, I think, for Team USA, as that could have really gone either way. The 2 power plays for Slovakia, 5-on-3 for US. If Slovakia gets up to an early lead, maybe that changes the momentum pretty drastically in this game. So again, don't take 5-on-3s against powerhouse teams if you're an underdog. Stop it. 6 minutes into the second, Maki Samoskevich gets stopped on a clear-cut breakaway by the goaltender Lepkowski, who actually had an incredible game. It was the only reason Slovakia was ever in this game was because of him. Drew Commesso with an equally brilliant effort. Goaltending in this game was spectacular. This could have been a 7-6 game. 11 minutes into the second, Lepkowski with another huge save on Sasha Pastujov after getting a big rebound up. Big second chance effort. I think the defenseman might have got a little bit of it. This is for Slovakia, but ultimately Lepkowski with an amazing save there. The second period for Slovakia was terrible. The U.S. absolutely bringing it to them. I think the shots after the second were 31 to 11. I think it was the Slovakia didn't get a shot on goal in this until about the 19-minute mark with a minute left. It was all the U.S. There were a couple penalties called. Slavkovsky, I think, hit it off the post just before they got their first shot, so it didn't count as a shot. But all United States in the second period. In the third, not so much. Slovakia scores with about a minute in on a power play for a I think it was 4-on-3, a power play that crossed over into the third period. Martin Kromiak from, let me screw this up, Kalsnik and Knasko. Kromiak with a bullet. Kromiak was one of the Slovakia's best offensive players in this game, let me tell you. Much better start for Slovakia in the third after a terrible second. Gets out Stamkos area 1T. We're 2-1. Checking my notes, I actually missed a goal, so I'm going to screw that up. Landon Slaggert scored to make it 3-0 for the States in the second period. From Kaiser and Dickinson, banged home a rebound after the puck kind of jumped up on Lepkowski there. So, my bad. I missed the goal. But it was 3-1 for the Kromiak one-timer on a power play, so that's where that stands. Sorry. It's been a long day. I don't want to have to reshoot anything. Sue me. At 12:30 of the third period, Slovakia actually had a goal called back after it was high stuck by Dalibor Dvorsky in front of that obvious high stick. The replay took longer than it should have. I think they were trying to check whether it had gone off Klevin's hand and not Dvorsky's stick, but ultimately high stick, taken off the board. 15 minutes in, States actually have a 3-on-1, and the Slovakian defenseman Bishar with an amazing TJ Brody slide, L1, L2, hit the ground, takes away an opportunity. Big play defensively for them. About 3.5 minutes left in the game. Maki Samoskevich takes a big hit, little crunched hit into the boards, in his own boards by his bench, by Martin Kromiak. Absolutely crunches him. Goes off limping. I didn't notice him if he came back in the game. It was really late at that point, and Samoskevich isn't a huge defensive guy, so don't know if that'll hurt. I know Ty Spalanek was scratched in this game due to an injury in the preliminary game against Finland. So already US's depth has to come through as they're facing a little bit of injury trouble. Well, 3 minutes left in the game. Carter Mazur with an empty net opportunity. When I mean empty net, he had all the time in the world. Bobbled the puck. Lepkowski gets over, makes the save. Huge opportunity missed. And of course, about 45 seconds later, Slovakia scores to bring themselves within one. Martin Kromiak with a nice shot off the reception. Nemec creates this play in the neutral zone. Great job from him. Great cross-crease pass. Makes this game interesting. With the goalie pulled, Kromiak actually gets another opportunity, but doesn't get it. Slovakia loses 3-2 United States. Without the performance of Drew Commesso, this game could have been very, very different. And that goes for Lepkowski too. Great goaltending was tops in this game. Second period from Slovakia was awful. Awful period from them. But some building blocks here for Slovakia to go forward for the next few games. Still could be a team that upsets somebody. They have the firepower to do it. They have the good defenseman. They have a great goaltender after this game. We'll see if Slovakia ends up upsetting anybody. Final shots are 42-25 USA. Like I said, I think I had 22 shots in the second. Not a great showing in the middle of the game, but came out flying. And that was it. That was it for the first day of the World Juniors. I watched every single minute of every game. Let me know what you think of the games. I know this, setup isn't our normal deal. Alex isn't even here to bounce things off of me. Weren't able to connect tonight around Christmas, so it is what it is. Boxing Day, if you're in Canada, 26th of December, we'll have an easier setup back to our normalcy in a few days after this happens, but I still wanted to get something out for you tonight. It's a longer video, I think, that it ended up to be. 4 games. Maybe I'll do. Let me know if you want a big video at the end of the day. Let me know if you want smaller review videos. As they happen, we'll try to get those out maybe. Let us know what you think. Leave a like if you liked it this way. Comment to who you have for tomorrow. Comment who you have playing for tomorrow, winning tomorrow. Canada and US, I think, skip a day. They'll play. Canada plays Austria, I think, on Tuesday. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.